Hello guys, I'm Dad and welcome to another episode of Ielts with Datio. So today's episode is going to be a pretty interesting one because I'm going to be telling you guys some of the main differences between American pronunciation and British pronunciation, and in the context of IELTS listening and maybe IELTS speaking. You know how American English and British English, they differ in terms of pronunciation. Sometimes the difference is so subtle that it doesn't really cause you any sort of confusion in terms of understanding, but at other times the distinction is so huge that when you listen to like the British pronunciation versus the American pronunciation, you can't even tell that they're the same word because they sound completely different. And in today's video, I'm going to bring to your attention 5 words that have really different pronunciations, okay, in the two accents. And the reason I chose these 5 words is because they are some of the most commonly encountered words in IELTS listening as well as IELTS speaking, because I'm sure you will listen to them a lot, and you also have to make use of them a lot in your speaking. So it's essential that we get the pronunciation right so that you can recognize them when you do the listening test, because at the end of the day the IELTS exam is still a primarily British exam, so it is crucial that you know how to pronounce the British way, right? So without further ado, let's get started. So the first word for today is this word over here. So Americans would pronounce it resource, okay? So the stress is on the first syllable, and the second syllable, it is the consonant is S sound, so it is resource, all right? But the British would pronounce it completely differently. It would be stressed on the second syllable, and the consonant is not S anymore, but it's a Z sound. So they would say resource, okay? And notice the vowel too. It's resource. The second syllable, it's kind of like very round O sound. So resource and resource. And word number 2 for today is this word over here. I'm sure you know this phrase, to have a hectic schedule. And most of you would probably pronounce it as schedule. Well, some Vietnamese say schedule. It's kind of funny though. But the more common pronunciation that we often hear is the American one. So you would probably say it as schedule, okay? But the British version would be schedule. So the main difference here is the consonant in the first syllable. The American version would be ske, okay? Schedule. And the British one is schedule. So there's a K here in the American pronunciation, but there is no K, and the first consonant would be a sh sound, yeah? And the second syllable, they're pretty much the same. Anyway, so it's schedule if you go with the American accent, and it's schedule if you go with the British accent. And word number 3 for today is the word medicine. Okay, so a lot of us actually are more exposed to the pronunciation that has 3 syllables. So medicine, which is more American, and from what I know, the British version of it would be medicine, which only has 2 syllables. Yeah, medicine. Okay, so the next time that you encounter this phrase like, oh, I need to take my medicine, you should know that it's actually the word medicine, okay? And hey, for Vietnamese learners of English, it is not medicine, okay? Pay attention to the vowel, please. It is medicine, a sound, okay? And even for the British pronunciation, it is medicine. It's still an a sound in the second syllable. So it's not medicine, it is medicine. Okay, moving on to word number 4. It is the word over here. So I'm sure that it is a very popular word and you're already familiar with it, but what is the pronunciation that we are familiar with? Again, I think it's the American pronunciation that we're familiar with. So most of us would probably pronounce it as advertisement, right? Advertisement. The stress is on the third syllable, and advertisement. And the vowel of the third syllable is I sound. What about the British version then? It is actually pronounced as advertisement. Alright, so I think there are two differences here. First difference is that the stress is not on the third, but it's on the second syllable. And the second difference is that while the third syllable here, the vowel is I, advertisement. The third syllable here, the vowel is, yeah? Advertisement. It's not advertisement, but it's advertisement, yeah? So, advertisement, advertisement. And the fifth word, and also the last word for today's episode, is the word mobile, yeah? I know a lot of Vietnamese do pronounce it as mobile phone, right? But okay, let's make it a little bit more Western, okay? Make it more Thai. You would have to stress on the first syllable, and the second vowel would be il. From what I know, the Vietnamese people do pronounce this word in a more British kind of way because, you know, we say mobile, which kind of resembles mobile more, right? But the American pronunciation is actually mobile, yeah? So the first syllable is the same, they're the same, but the second syllable is where the difference comes in. So British people would say mobile, but American people would say mobile, yeah? So notice the difference in terms of the vowel of the second syllable is. So I'm done telling you guys the main differences in terms of the pronunciation of these 5 words between the American accent and the British accent. So it's actually good that you are aware of such differences because they may well save you from committing like silly mistakes, you know, due to your oversight, because you actually know these words already. It's just that you don't know the less common pronunciation of these words. And by the way, you know, the IELTS exam is shifting towards being a more international exam because you may encounter like 3 different accents in a listening exam. For example, maybe 2 sections will feature a British person and, you know, 1 section with an American person, and the other section would have like an international accent, for example, a Brazilian accent, an Indian accent, or even a Vietnamese accent someday, who knows, but that will be our advantage, right? So if you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up and please hit the subscribe button because it would mean a lot to me, guys. And there's a bell button right next to it, so why don't you hit that button as well, so you're gonna get every single get a notification for every single video that I'm gonna post. So take care, okay, and I'll see you soon.